What's up? My name is Mainza, and I'm here to answer some questions with Sounds of the Future.
Is that 508?
Yeah. No, I'm back in this shit. I'm just back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. I'm just back in this shit. Whoa. No, I'm back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. I'm back in this shit. Yeah.
What's up? Back with another episode of Sounds of Future TV. It's Nolan. Who am I here with today?
Mainza.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I want to go back to when your first memory of music. Do you remember that?
I actually really do. It's very vivid. We can take it back there.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. My first memory of music definitely comes from my upbringing. I was born in Zambia, and I feel like a lot of channels back then, especially MTV, they would really show a lot of like music videos and just showcase like the hottest stuff out. And my aunt was like, she's only like 10 years older than me, so when I was growing up, she was like in her teens. So the hottest stuff out was like what I was listening to and watching on MTV. And I remember my first music video that I ever saw was Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani. And I just remember being infatuated with like the colors and like, the fast movements and just like the way music videos were made. I used to think that music videos were like you lip syncing the whole song, and then they somehow like you have to like each take is you having to sync up with like the sound, the part you're singing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
It's kind of crazy, but that's my first memory of music. It was really music videos, MTV music videos, and just like being infatuated with how they made them look so cool. Yeah. So
you said you grew up in Zambia?
I did.
So can you talk about that experience a little bit too, and how that, coming here and eventually becoming an artist, like is there a lot of I guess your background that you bring into your career, and is it kind of showing in, I guess, your personality and who you are and stuff like that?
For sure. I definitely think that growing up in Zambia had a huge, growing up, I left when I was 7, but I do still have strong memories of being there. I think just having that like multicultural experience really, makes you open to new experiences and just learning about people around you. So I feel like with music wise, like I just want to tell stories that are relatable to everyone. And I feel like because I've seen, that end of the spectrum and then seeing this side, and it's just like I'm able to talk about certain things, you know what I mean? Or feel like, okay, there's someone out there that does relate. So I feel like I really attribute that to growing up in different places, because I did grow up in Zambia until I was 7, but I also lived in South Africa for like a year. And then I moved here, and then we moved again. So it's just like I'm just used to that, just moving and meeting new people. And I think that's really what makes my music, because I'm telling stories that I've actually lived, and I feel like a lot of people have actually also lived and experienced. And that's a huge, that's a huge credit to my upbringing and where I'm from, and just being an immigrant and just hopping all over the place, basically.
So to talk about your music a little more and just like the artists in general, you mentioned how growing up you were really infatuated with the MTV videos and stuff like that. And I see that you're really heavily involved in your image, and like I saw you do blue paint for one of the shoes too. Like you're really expressive with yourself. So like stuff like that, or is just, do you feel like your work is like an outlet for you to really express your true self in a sense that you may not have been able to before?
Oh, for sure. I think, art is just another way of saying things without saying things. So for me, it's like music has been a really easy outlet for me to say those things, because I grew up on it, and I felt like those artists were expressing something that I was already living, or like that I wanted to live. So for me, it's like, I'm like, it's a gift that keeps on giving. I feel like now, okay, I'm able to do that, and I can make someone else feel like that. So I feel like when it comes to expressing myself, it's very easy for me because it's something I've always just been doing. And it's funny because I was having this conversation yesterday because it's Valentine's Day, and we're talking about, what are some things that you really love about yourself? And I was just saying, like, the ability to stay true to myself. I feel like I'm now, as adult me, is embracing the things that I liked as 13-year-old me, but just more openly, and just more, just more freely, without feeling like I'm being judged, or, in school, like you were bullied for liking certain things, or if you like, you're considered a nerd or whatever the case may be. But it's like now you're an adult and no one's really looking at you like that. Like you have the freedom to do whatever the hell you want to do. And I think that's very yeah.
So you spoke about how yesterday too, you were talking about what you love about yourself and stuff like that. And in the past interviews, I spoke with some artists who've really been, I guess, heavy on affirmations and stuff like that. So do you feel like you also resonate with that? And in your work too, are you kind of cautious of what you're putting out there and what you say lyrics wise in order to, like, you know, positively like influence your career?
Yeah, no, I think there is a level of self-awareness. Music is definitely fun, and it has its levels. Like, I think we need deep shit, we need, you know, fun stupid shit, like we need drill, we need trap. And I know some people don't, like, they listen to that and it's just like, oh, you know, what are they saying? But no, like, exactly, what are they saying? We don't care what they're saying, we're just here to have a good time. And then there's some songs where it's like, actually I do care what they're saying, what is the message? But that's where it's all about your perception and how you're gonna listen to that as a you know, consumer. What do you want to listen to? So I feel like for me, I'm just telling, in my music, I just feel like I'm just telling my life. Like, I'm just literally just making my life sound like a nice song. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, like, and I feel like whoever gravitates towards that is going to gravitate towards that. But in the sense of, like, you know, being particular about my lyrics, actually I am, like, I will sometimes listen to a song and I'm like, I could have low-key done, either I'll be like, I could have done better, I can go back and do better. That's why I don't listen to my music like that, like crazy, because I'm really hypercritical. But I also still enjoy it because I'm also like, okay, but even if you felt like that, someone else is not, other people are not looking at it like that. Like, no one's dissecting your music or your craft the way you're dissecting it, because you are your you know, the creator of it. But to answer your question, like, I am meticulous about my lyrics. I am. My brother also sometimes tells me, he's like, because he's my producer, he'll be like, yo, just let the song ride itself. Like, you don't have to go back and be like, damn, what is that? Is that a good metaphor? Maybe like I could use a different allegory. You know what I mean? Like, things like that. But that's just the technicalities of it. I want to make the music feel good regardless. So I feel like sometimes, like, we also have to kind of just take a seat back and be like, okay, let the song write itself, you know?
For sure.
But yeah.
So you mentioned also how your brother is also your producer. So what is that experience like? Because a lot of people, especially early on in their career, they don't really have a steady support system or people that are consistently in their circle, making music with them, helping promote, do all this stuff with them. But you obviously have a person in your life that is doing that for you. So what has that experience been like, and that has that kind of like tightened your bond even more?
It's definitely been an interesting experience. It's definitely more freeing to create, for sure, because, you know, you have that, like, familiarity, and that's, you know, in my case, that's my brother. But I feel like it's also one of those things where, yeah, because you are so familiar with each other, sometimes the lines do blur, because it's like, now I'm not just talking to my producer, I'm talking to my brother and my producer and, you know, like, my best friend type thing. Like, I'm that comfortable with you. And I feel like that's why we also have the saying of don't mix business with pleasure, because sometimes you can easily blur the lines and you have to be cautious. But I think my brother and I have also done a good job of just, you know, we're staying in our respectful lanes, where it's like, I'm coming into this room as a songwriter, you're coming into this room as a producer, and yes, there'll be feedback, but it's not personal, and we're not going to take it back to the dinner table. And I feel like that's the most important part. And also my mom too, she's quick to nip that in the bud. You know, she's the person who really encouraged us to work together too, but she's also someone who also reminds us that, like, you guys, if it's not working for you guys, you don't have to, like, you know, do it together. It's not like you guys are siblings, not twins. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's still siblings, but, like, you're not, like, you weren't two similar dreams, but it doesn't have to be executed the same way. And we have that understanding. But I think that's very important too, to know what you're going in there for. Like, I look at it like, you know, I go to shows and of course my big brother's there to support, but sometimes it's okay if he's not there. Like, you know, it's my torch to carry and I gotta be able to do things by myself. So there's that aspect too, but I actually really do love working with my brother, and I love the freedom of, like, being like, yo, I got a song idea. Oh wait, he's right next door. I can just go, you know, let him know. And vice versa. And I think that's the really cool thing about it. But yeah, to answer your question, like, we have our own, you know, flaws. We're siblings, and I think it'd be the same situation with anybody else. Like, we hear about the Jacksons, they got their own shit going on. You know what I mean? No one's perfect, but I do love the flexibility of working with my brother. I do.
That's tough. So now to shift a little bit to where you currently reside in Massachusetts. So I want to talk about the music scene over there. A lot of people, have mixed feelings on what it is and like, you know, what their thoughts on it are, and if it you know, if it's on the come up, if you know what the sound is, stuff like that. What are your personal thoughts on the music scene? You think it's in the right place, or you feel like it could be improved in some aspects?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where I've kind of learned to have a bit of a tunnel vision, because I feel like there is like it can get a little cliquey out in there in Boston. Like I love Boston, you know, that's my home, but it does get a bit cliquey in the sense that like you're not really gonna go to like out here. I feel like you can go to a club and probably make like 10 different connects.
Yeah.
And you know, like there's different entry points to, you know, wherever you go. But with Boston, it's like you gotta know this person to get to know this person to da. And a lot of times it's like if you're not, at least from my personal experience, because I feel like I make such like an outlier sound of music, especially for a Black artist, like alternative R&B, alternative pop. It's not that popular. It's popular, yeah, because we have artists like The Weeknd, you know, they do it, SZA, and them, but it's still not like at a masses that popular, especially for Black artists. And I feel like sometimes like I kind of get the not doors turned, but I kind of get the little, you know, like side eyes, or like the what do you have to bring to the table, because I'm not giving you your generic R&B. And I feel like sometimes people don't give you the chance to show what you have to bring in Boston, not because they're being malicious about it, but I think it is just cliquey and they're just used to one type of sound, you know what I mean? I feel like New York here, it's so free. You have everybody and anybody out here, and they're just doing whatever the hell they want to do. And I feel like that's why we love cities like this, and this is why they're hot spots, because we embrace that. But with a city like Boston, I feel like it's definitely on the come up. I will give it its credit, but I do think at times it does get a little bit selective and a little bit closed-minded, and I would love for it to open up. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing too as an artist, because it's bigger than me. It's not just me, and you know, one day I'll be an example for somebody else coming from Massachusetts as well. So that's why I'm also staying true to myself and my sound, because someone else out there is going to appreciate it. And yeah, and sometimes in Boston they don't really show love to any sounds outside of like R&B and like hip hop. That's just what I've seen. Maybe that's controversial, maybe you disagree, but that's why we have a comment section. We can really go bat for bat. Like, I don't really know. But yeah.
To build off that though, you kind of mentioned how you got turned away at the door and stuff like that, and you don't necessarily feel fully accepted and embraced by that, you know, some communities in Boston. But just in general in your career, do you feel like you ever had points where you've been frustrated and like, I guess, low points where you thought about considering, you know, switching, either giving up or just like switching your sound to something that may be more digestible? Or do you feel like you're so, you know, set on, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to sound, and if it's, you know, if I make it this way, it's going to be this way. If I don't, then, you know, so be it.
Good question. I definitely have moments of like fatigue, in terms of like sometimes just looking at like, damn, especially now in this stage, in the world that we're living in, you have to be a content creator first, outside of being an artist. So I feel like sometimes that gets really tiring, and it kind of takes away from like the love and like just like the hustle for the music, because it feels like, okay, yeah, I released a single, but I have to like put out this type of promo. Like, what else can I do? Oh my God, I didn't post today. Now I gotta think. That's tiring. Like, I just want to go and sing my song, and whoever likes it. They buy the record. That's how I've, you know, always seen my artistry. But also, like, you know, I understand the times that we're living in. But I do sometimes feel like it is sometimes frustrating to be in like, I feel like it's also only frustrating because the world kind of put me in a box already before I even, you know, said anything. And that's just because I am a Black woman, literally. And I feel like we do that a lot with Black artists in general, where we like, well, the artists can literally be making, well, them making rock, they'll be making whatever the case may be. Even Drake, like Drake is a pop artist who raps, like, but yet we're calling him an, you know, hip hop rapper, you know, whatever the case may be. It's just because he's Black. And SZA is a pop artist. It's just because she's Black. And it's just like all these things where it's like, honestly, sometimes I feel like I've already kind of like, I don't even have to explain myself, or like I can't explain myself because you've already, you know, perceived me in a certain way. And that's just something I just have to get used to, just getting perceived. But I've actually, honestly, truthfully, I've never thought about changing my sound. I've never thought about caving into that mold, because I really hopefully feel like God wouldn't give me this talent or like this this sound just to fall on deaf ears. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like it's going somewhere, and I feel like there's an audience for it. I know there's an audience for it, and whether it is, my peers supporting me or like people around me who fuck with that sound, it doesn't matter, because there's an audience out there for somebody. Like, there's gonna be some other people that like it. So I feel like I just gotta keep that mentality of like, there's somebody out there that is reaching, like there's a reason why I'm making this, and then I'm able to like not be so like iffy about what I'm putting out, because like, if I like it, somebody else is gonna love it. Like, that's how I see it. And I make music for myself too. Like, I always make music thinking about, damn, how would this sound if I'm playing this in the radio with my friends? Like, would I like this? That's how I see my music. So I'm not really thinking about if it's digestible for anybody else. That's like an afterthought. Like, they can like it, they can love it, either way they streamed, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I see it.
I want to ask, what was the hardest, or what would you say is the hardest part about being an artist? Would it be that kind of social media aspect you mentioned, where it was, having to constantly promote yourself and do all this stuff and, kind of be a content creator? Or would you say it's something else?
Honestly, I think social media, once you low-key just like lock in that, like, at the end of the day, everyone's just putting in highlights of what they think is the best. And then also, it's just not real. Like, you had a life before social media. I think that takes the pressure off of it. However, as an artist, I think I just personally feel the pressure to be true to myself. I think at this level where it's like you're independent, no one's really telling you what to do. Yeah. But you still kind of feel like, okay, there's an expectation of you, because whenever you post and whenever people see you, you're training your audience. So it's like people have a certain expectation of you. Cool. But now I feel like, okay, there's levels to this. When we do get to a certain level, like that pressure kind of scares me. It's like, oh shit, like now I'm gonna have to be up at 6 a.m. and doing 16 hours of practice. It's like the idea that I love my music so much that I will wholeheartedly give my all to it, and I'm ready for that. But it's a responsibility. It's really a responsibility, because even this, it's like, we had to figure out the trains, we had to figure out the but it's like, how much do you love it to do it? And that's what it really is for me. Like, I would never bend my morals for any of this, but I think in the basics, like, I'm willing to do any and everything for my music. I want to do that. So I feel like for me, it's really the responsibilities that come with, the levels that you go up in. That's what's really like, that's what I'd be thinking about. Because even now, I'm just like, okay, you said you wanted to do this. You're going to New York, right? And now you got to fulfill that. And it doesn't matter if it's cold. You know what I mean? Things like that. It's like, what would Beyonce do? Like, you got to go do it. That's literally how I like operate. That's really the biggest pressures for me. Like, just telling myself to get up and just keep going. Because sometimes it does get easy to like, okay, I did that performance, I can relax.
Yeah, but you got to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, hold yourself accountable. Exactly. Because it's like, I'm my own marker too. I don't ever want to look at somebody else as my marker of success. You know what I mean? Like, comparing myself. So that's why I feel like I always have to keep striving for more and keep like pushing. Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, like you were saying, you have to kind of motivate yourself and make sure you stay motivated to pursue your career. And like you said, like, in the sense of independence, though, you're obviously independent right now. You have your people with you, but as you grow in your career, you're going to get more opportunities and stuff like that from, attention from labels and stuff like that. Is that something that you would want to consider doing, like signing deals, or would you prefer to be independent and kind of, take this route while also retaining some more freedom in the sense of like creativity and stuff like that? While with a label, you may have to kind of maybe not sacrifice morals in that sense, but maybe have to cater to, you know what I mean?
I've definitely considered that. I really want a publishing deal, in the sense of like, I want to be able to keep my creative control, but have the exposure and the access that, a label would give you. I think that would be the most appropriate deal for me, especially also because I have Muzova Records, which is already like my brother and I's publishing, like the company where we are already pushing our music through and stuff like that. And I feel like that's already something that could build off of, you know what I mean? And I don't want to leave that. And kind of like how The Weeknd did it, where he has the deal with OVO, but he's his own label, EXO, that type of thing. And I would like ideally for something like that, where I can get the financial benefits of a label, but not the creative like restraints. I don't have time for someone telling me, you know, that I can't put this out because they think it's not a hit. Fuck what you think is a hit. Like, you know how many records we don't labels, and that's the thing, a lot of label executives, no disrespect, they're not listening for talent. Half of them don't even know what a good song is. So, you know, I that's why people like Frank Ocean did their big one and dipped, and that's you have to be smart like that. But I say all this to say that I want the best deal that's going to respect my creative control, but also still elevate me in the sense where I'm like, you know, making money from my career, and, you know, touching my fans. I want to be able to go on tour and do all those things and merchandise. Yeah, it's just like a great deal, but like I don't want you to be telling me what I can and cannot release. That's just yeah.
So I want to shift a little bit to the future now. Okay. Let's talk like 10 years.
Sounds of the future.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds of the future. So let's say like 10 years from now, where would you kind of see yourself and your career going?
I love talking about this. Okay, bet, because I think about this every day. 10 years from now, how old am I? Like 33? Okay, bet. Ideally, I have like 5 albums under my belt. 5-6 albums under my belt. I'm not going to tell you the number of Grammys because I'm not going to limit God. I'm not telling you the net worth either because I'm not going to limit God. Let me think. I don't think I'll be married or have kids or nothing. Not that I don't care for that, but like in 10 years from now, I think I'm still young, hot, and turned. I feel like ideally I would want to be somewhere. I want to be breaking records. Like I want my own record. You know what I mean? Like I want to have a certain amount of Grammys. I feel like some of these things I also maybe should keep to myself in this position. But I want to be able to say that I performed at, you know, Wembley Stadium. I want to be able to say that I, you know, performed at Coachella. I want to be able to say that I performed at the Super Bowl, things like that, which I think are all tangible and within 10 years, especially for, you know, not to my own horn, for the music that I make. I think we can definitely get there in 10 years, guys. I think I want to go on like worldwide tours and just, you know, just go to every continent and just like, especially Africa. I feel like Africa doesn't get a lot of tours, and there's a lot of politics behind that, but I really want to show my nation love and just, you know, go tour more in Africa and do some fundraiser stuff and give back to my hometown. I definitely see myself being a philanthropist in that sense. I want to do more of giving back with that. And I always say, like, one of my prayers to God is bless me so I can bless others. And I really want to hold true to that and just, you know, like have my family eating good, and, you know, who knows what my sister's gonna be doing. Like, I'm gonna just put everybody on, and that's just how I see my life. But yeah, in 10 years it's gonna be even better than this. For sure.
So I got 2 more questions for you.
Yes.
I want to talk about any upcoming work, projects, shows, stuff you want to promote.
For sure. I mean, other than this, of course, I just did a performance with Hang the Line on Saturday. I don't know when that's dropping, but you're going to see it soon. It's for Don't Call Me. And I just felt like it would be perfect because, you know, the phone, Hang the Line, Don't Call Me, da-da-da-da, you get it. And I just released a single, Rage War, that's out everywhere. And outside of that, yeah, we just keep grinding. Opportunities come every day, and just keep, you know, checking my page and keep yourself posted on what I be posting, because I be posting about the things I be posted on. But yeah, and I also want to say, like, I'm a very I don't want to say like awkward but talkative individual. I say a blend of both, and I feel like that's something also that I feel like a lot of people are, but they don't really embrace because it's kind of shunned upon. People are very performative nowadays. So yeah, that's just me. That was just like between us type shit. But anyway, Back to your point, yes, promoting stuff. I will definitely be doing more shows. My intentions are always bigger stages and just a wider audience, not just on an egotistic standpoint, but just to literally touch more people. Like, music is so important, and we need it, especially in this time when there's too much bullshit going on. We need distractions. We need positive reinforcement. So I definitely just want to keep pushing out music with messages too. That's an important thing, especially for this time we're living in.
All right. So last question. We got a segment called Words from the Future.
Okay.
So I'll ask the artist to leave a message that they want to give to the audience, or just any advice, stuff like that.
Any advice I would give you, honestly, not even just as an artist, as a person, work on yourself, because you are your longest and honestly your most profound commitment. Like, you don't know anybody else better than you know you. And I feel like a lot of people, we'd be a better world if we all took the time to love on ourselves as much as we take the time to love on others. That's very important. But yeah, you're your top priority. Buy what you want to buy, wear what you want to wear, talk to, love who you want to love, embrace yourself, embrace the people around you, just the way that, we see other people getting old and people die. Your story is the same. So live your life like tomorrow's not promised, because it really isn't. And follow your dreams, yo. That's another thing too. Stop putting shit on hold. Follow your dreams, because you don't want to be here a year from now thinking like, damn, I could have really done that. That's a year gone. Definitely do that, and just continue to spread love. I know that's very like quote unquote like cheesy, but it's so important, Like, we have too much stuff going on, too much tension. People are really mean. You don't need to be the next asshole. So definitely spread love and keep it real. Don't be fake.
For sure.
That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Sounds of the Future.
Sounds of the Future TV. We're signing out. That is another episode. Appreciate you.
Back in the field, back like I never left, ready to spill. Only got one shot, I go for the kill. Could've went platinum with thoughts to drill, but I found a better way without a deal.